Bitcoin is currently trading around 10,100 US dollars. We are getting some support right off the 21-week EMA, just around the $10,000 psychological level. This is one of the most pivotal, one of the most historic moments for Bitcoin in the past few years. In today's video, I want to discuss how the US dollar value is affecting the Bitcoin price, how this plays into the stock market, and also discussing the US money supply. And also taking a look at the price of Chainlink and Ethereum. All of this and more in today's video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Svenson, and today we're going to be discussing a few key factors that are playing into the Bitcoin price action. As we can see, Bitcoin is currently trading just above 10,100 US dollars. We are trading above the psychological $10,000 level. As we know, the $10,000 level has been a huge hurdle for Bitcoin in the past. We find a lot of resistance around 10,000 to 10,500. Bitcoin is also currently testing the 21-week EMA. And as we know in the past, the 21-week EMA has acted as a really solid indicator for an uptrend. In the 2017 bull market, we remained above the 21-week EMA, and also in the 2019 bull run, we remained above the 21-week EMA, and right now we are currently above it. In my opinion, holding the 21-week EMA and holding the $10,000 level is pretty critical here. But there's a lot of things playing into this. And one thing I want to bring up is the Willy Woo post where he said, many look at the Bitcoin price and doubt that it's a hedge, but high net worth individuals and funds certainly consider it to be true and betting on that with real money. So what we can see is that Bitcoin is becoming a preferred hedge against the devaluation of the dollar. Bitcoin is not being used as a hedge against stocks. It's being used as a hedge against the devaluation of the US dollar. So this is significant if the US dollar is losing value. We have seen a massive increase in the US money supply since the global pandemic happened, right? We have like upwards of almost over 18% increase in the money supply overall. And what you can see looking at the DXY, the US dollar index, is that when the global pandemic took place, we saw a huge spike in the value of the US dollar. People were selling equities to get the US dollar. They were more comfortable holding cash, so we saw the value of the dollar spike during the pandemic. Since then, we have seen a dump. Now, what's interesting is if you look at the Bitcoin price, when the US dollar spiked in value, that's when we saw that record dump for Bitcoin. And then since March, the US dollar has been on a downtrend. And once we saw it break below support here in July, if you look at the Bitcoin price, that's when Bitcoin saw a spike and we started to test around 12K. So there is a really strong inverse correlation between the US dollar and Bitcoin. And the same thing goes for the stock market. So if we look at the US money supply and just go to the daily chart and bring it up since March, right? Now we're looking at March to where we are now. And if you compare this to the US dollar value, we can see that, okay, the US dollar has lost value as the money supply has increased. Makes sense. And here's what I'm looking out for now. I do think that as the money supply increases, the US dollar will continue to lose value. But if the US dollar does gain in value in the short term, maybe a temporary increase, yes, that means that stocks will lose value and Bitcoin will also see a decrease in value. Now, we haven't gotten confirmation of this yet. We're still seeing lower highs on the US dollar index. So we haven't actually broken out yet, but I'm just giving you guys a warning that if the US dollar value does see a breakout here to retest maybe previous resistance, that's going to cause a downturn in the Bitcoin price and the stock market. And this goes back to Willy Woo's tweet where, if the US dollar index is gaining, if the US dollar is gaining in value, high net worth individuals are not going to be buying Bitcoin. They're going to be going back into cash as cash is gaining value. So for all of us that are in Bitcoin and in crypto and possibly, in the stock market, what we need actually is for the US dollar to continue to lose value. If the US dollar continues to lose value, then the stock market would very likely find support and hold the all-time high area. And like I say in almost all of my videos, as long as we can hold above the 21-week EMA, that does indicate that Bitcoin is in an uptrend. And this is really, really what I'm hoping for right now. For me, it's pretty hard to tell what's going to happen to the US dollar value, if we're going to gain in value, lose value. I mean, overall, with the increase in the money supply, you would expect the US dollar to continue to lose value but we could see a little bit of a hiccup in the markets if the US dollar does come back up to test, previous resistance or something. You could see a slight dip, maybe fill the CME gap. If the US dollar does gain in value soon, this would mean that Bitcoin would probably come back to test around 9,300, which is the 382 fib retrace, fill the CME gap. And that structurally wouldn't be very great to see, but it's possible. So just to reiterate, the inverse correlation between the US dollar and Bitcoin is very, very strong. So I'm keeping my eye on that right now to tell me what's going to take place here. And the key signal between a potential continued bull trend versus, some potential bearishness here in the price of Bitcoin is holding the $10,000 level and the 21-week EMA. This is going to be a pretty pivotal moment for Bitcoin. So there's a lot of things to be looking at right now. Keep your eye on the US dollar value, the correlation to Bitcoin, the stock market, and also the US money supply. All of this is playing into the price of Bitcoin. And also just to mention, Ethereum is sitting in a really pivotal spot above $364. I would consider that bull market territory. If Ethereum falls below 310 US dollars, that is definitely, starting to look a little bit bearish. And if Ethereum can get back above 364 US dollars, that is bull market territory, in my opinion. Also, for the price of Chainlink, things have been quite crazy recently. We did dump to previous resistance as new support. Looking at the weekly chart, in my past 2 videos, I was discussing that Chainlink was showing some bearish signals and that we could be testing prices like $11.60 to $10. We actually went even lower than I expected on that dump. And now looking at the daily chart for Chainlink, we have seen a nice bounce, a little bit of a recovery here. Overall, I'm not too worried about Chainlink. Chainlink is still the #1 performing asset in the top 20 cryptocurrencies. By far, some of the most gains over the past 6 months, past year. If you're looking at Chainlink here at the previous support at $12.84, we have seen resistance. Right? We saw a little bit of resistance, a little bit of trouble getting back above that area. If Bitcoin can get a bounce back above 10,500, this would very likely send Chainlink back above $12.84 for a full recovery. If the US dollar value sees an uptick here, if the US dollar value goes up and Bitcoin sees a dump below this level to test, maybe 9,300, that's when you could see Chainlink coming back to create a double bottom formation at that $9 low, the low $9 range. That could be a possibility if Bitcoin sees a dump. Chainlink actually saw a better recovery than most coins, so I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see that we're holding previous resistance as new support, still getting that long-term growth here for Chainlink. So just to recap, as long as we're maintaining the 21-week EMA, that is an indication of a bull trend, and we're still above the 21-week EMA, which means we are still in a bullish trend despite the recent bearish weekly dump. If we break below this area, this does give a lot more momentum for the bearish argument. So just to finish off this video, keep a very close eye on the US dollar index, the movement that we see for the US dollar value, how that's affecting the stock market, which we're currently testing just below the all-time high, and how this is all affecting the price of Bitcoin. There's a strong correlation between the US dollar and Bitcoin because it is seen as a preferred hedge against the devaluation of the dollar. So there's a lot of things to keep track of. There's a lot of things playing in to the Bitcoin price right now. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, be sure to sign up with the Crypto Watch platform, and I'll see you guys in the next video.